Welcome to part 4 of our video series on functions and groupings in Sigma. We're picking up right where we left off in part 3 and diving deeper into the different kinds of window functions available in Sigma and how to use them. These window functions allow for deeper looks into our data by enabling us to calculate, for example, cumulative sums of entire groupings, moving averages, and values based on only specific rows within the group. We'll start off by talking about cumulative window functions. These are window functions that run beginning with the first row in the grouping and work down to the final row according to how the grouping is sorted, calculating a cumulative value for all rows in the column. If you watched our previous video, you're probably familiar already with the CumulativeSum window function. Now, let's move on to talking about moving window functions. Moving window functions are functions that calculate a value based on a range of cells relative to the current row and across the grouping level. Because the calculation is relative to the current row, the calculation moves as your data changes. This allows you to, for example, calculate the average monthly revenue over a moving 3-month period. To see what that looks like, let's add a new column in the month of date grouping and set the formula to be moving average of monthly revenue. As you can see in the helper text, this function expects an argument for above and also accepts one for below. Enter one for both, separated by commas. Because we use one for above and for below, this moving average function adds together the current row, the row above, and the row below before calculating the average value across those 3 rows. For rows that have no row above or below, the non-existent rows are treated as if their value is 0 rather than returning an error. The results of moving window functions also depend on how the current grouping level is sorted. Now let's move on to shifting window functions and try a quick example. Shifting window functions return a value from a single row based on its location relative to the current row. Some easy-to-use shifting window functions are the lead and lag functions. Lead gives values from the next row of the specified column, and lag gives values of the previous row of the specified column. Let's see how our monthly revenue compares to the previous month by creating a column with a formula that uses the lag function and our monthly revenue column. Now each row displays the previous month's revenue. The lead function works in a similar manner, although in the opposite direction. Now, using the results of the lag function, we can calculate how the current month compares to the month prior by modifying the column's formula to subtract the value of this lag function from monthly revenue. Remember that you can always combine functions with mathematical operators and other functions to create even more complex formulas in Sigma. As with the other window functions we've used so far, the results of shifting window functions depend on how the current grouping level is sorted. Finally, let's check out a ranking window function. Ranking window functions assign a rank to each row of the specified column relative to all other values within the same window. Create a new column in the same grouping as month of date with a formula of rank of monthly revenue. Now we can see which month has the highest revenue and which has the least within each window. You can use the formula bar to change the ranking from ascending to descending. Unlike with all other window functions, the actual number value of the rank does not change regardless of sorting. Now this concludes our overview of the different kinds of window functions available in Sigma. The next video will cover other kinds of functions that interact with groupings, many of which often work alongside the window functions we've covered here. As always, for more information or to read about some of the specific window functions that weren't covered here, visit help.sigmacomputing.com to view our documentation, guides, and tutorials. Until next time, take care and happy calculating.